My name is Michael Esquivel, and I'm a startup lawyer here at Fenwick and West, and I co-chair the digital health tech practice. As many of you know, 2020 has truly been a pivotal and watershed year for digital health. Accelerated by COVID-19's impact, these companies have risen to address the pandemic. Today, I'm especially excited to be here with my good friend Megan Zweig, COO of Rock Health, digital health's leading seed fund. In 2020, we've seen increased demand. We've seen increased deal volume. In fact, in Q3 2020, we outpaced all previous quarters by double-digit percentages. Megan, against this backdrop, just tell us about the big highlights of Rock Health's Q3 2020 report and this blockbuster year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Michael. Really appreciate it. There's a lot of different adjectives, words to describe the year that we've been having. We actually were talking with Julie Yu, who's a partner at Andreessen Horowitz, and she used the term bonkers, which I think I'm stealing and now want to use. She was using it in relation to the deal volume that Andreessen has seen. So they've seen I think it's about a 20 to 30% increase in just the number of digital health deals that they've seen through Q3 of this year relative to past years. And so the amount of funding pouring into the space is pretty bonkers. It definitely makes sense in the context of the year that we're having. I think despite the economic pullback that we've seen, never has there been this amount of just obvious demand for care at a distance, for the digitization of healthcare. And so when we think across the past, about 10 years that we've been tracking the space, about $50 billion has been invested. 20% of that has been just this year. So we're almost at the $10 billion mark just through Q3 of 2020. And that's in terms of venture capital investment in US-based digital health companies. Not to mention, other signs of maturity. We've had over 12 digital health IPOs in the past 18 months. We had 2,400 million plus mega deals just this year. So seeing a ton of capital. And I think one question that we get a lot is it just going towards those later stage companies who are now scaling to meet the demand that we're seeing? A lot of these kind of on-demand healthcare platforms, telemedicine platforms, medication delivery are raising tons of capital. But I think what's interesting is we actually still see that 50% of these deals are still going towards seed stage companies and Series A companies. So that feels really healthy, because rather than money just kind of pumping into the later stage innovation, we do still see the early stage innovation still getting a lot of attention from investors.
Yeah, that's really encouraging. What a great recap there. It's encouraging because you don't want sort of just a pure flight to quality or flight to seasoned companies. We need to continue to see these seed and Series A companies receive investment, because they are the future late stage companies to come, those that will be successful. Mm-hmm. So it's really encouraging that it isn't all being funneled to just the top half, the later stage players, but rather it looks like there's still a lot of excitement to invest in the early stages. So, few believe we're in a bubble. That's a word that I think even Rock Health used in one of its prior reports. This is part of a long-standing trend, some say. So what do the trends you're seeing indicate about, the remaining Q4 to come that we're in, and looking ahead, more importantly, to 2021?
Yeah, we certainly haven't seen investing slow down moving into Q4. A couple years ago, we asked that question, are we in an investment bubble? Our conclusion was we weren't. I think now we're definitely not. I think we may be seeing some higher prices in terms of valuations, exits, because the market really likes these companies right now because they're seeing the necessity of them. And so the kind of degree of adoption that we're seeing is so unprecedented. And I think it's really exciting. I think earlier in the year, I called it a pressure test for the industry, because you're going to have to see so many companies meet new needs, new demands, populations that maybe weren't leveraging these tools before. Are we able to meet those needs? And, I've been happy to see that a lot of these companies are really stepping up to the plate, not to mention the providers that are kind of enabling it on the other side of the equation.
Yeah, if I could sum that up, if I've got it right, you and the Rock Health team are fairly bullish about, what's ahead. And and what we might look forward to next year.
Yes, definitely. I think we're very bullish on this space, continue to be. These things are really going mainstream in a way that they haven't before. And it's not just meeting the needs of COVID, it's meeting the needs of this aging population that is more digitally savvy than the generation above them, who increasingly say they want to age in the home. It's, meeting the needs of millennials who, as consumers, are expecting things to be accessible, convenient, on demand. And so that's starting to move the conversation into a whole new set of players that see opportunity to further push the consumerization of the space that we work in.